Hi, my name is Nathan, and in this video, I'll briefly talk about our work for the MSR technical track paper, Waiting Around or Job Have Done, Sentiment and Self-Admitted Technical Debt. This is joint work together with Gianmarco, Fiorella, Nicole, Alexander, and Max. So I'll start with a brief recap on self-admitted technical debt. So self-admitted technical debt are source code comments that have been authored by developers, and in these comments they usually talk about some sort of deficiency or some sort of technical debt that remains in the system. So if you look at the comment that you can see on the screen, it's about warning the user that something should still be removed. And we studied this with three different goals in mind. First of all, there have been some existing taxonomies that focus on self-admitted technical debt. However, in these taxonomies, the starting point is usually the self-admitted technical debt comments and their place in the software engineering life cycle. So whether the comment is about the design phase, the implementation phase, or the core requirements phase. And we wanted to look at the content of the self-admitted technical debt comments. Secondly, we know that negative sentiment can lead to stress and burnout in open source developers. And we wanted to see how often negative sentiment occurs in self-admitted technical debt, and in what type of self-admitted technical debt this negative sentiment occurs. And thirdly, we know that developers self-report that when they author self-admitted technical debt, that they include some sort of external links. These can be author initials, as you can see in the red box, but this can also be links to issue trackers or bug trackers, or for instance, class names or module names. And we did three different things. So we took an existing data set of self-admitted technical debt, and we took a statistically significant sample from this data set. And then we labeled every comment, and we constructed a bottom-up content-based self-admitted technical debt taxonomy, where every content was analyzed by two different authors to build up a categorization of what's going on in these comments. Secondly, we manually annotated or tagged all of the comments with a sentiment polarity score. And thirdly, we used manual and automatic detection techniques to find all sorts of external references, such as class names, module names, author names, or URLs in these comments. And we found three different things. So first of all, we found that functional issues, these can be bugs, partial implementation, these can be methods that were unfinished, error handling that should still be improved, and poor implementation choices, such as performance, are discussed in 75% of all self-admitted technical debt comments. So in total, we found 9 high-level categories, and these three are by far the most common three. Secondly, when it came to negative sentiment, we found that there are several categories in which negative sentiment occurs more frequently. And these are functional issues, so bugs, or self-admitted technical debt that is about being on hold, so waiting for external dependencies. And thirdly, we found that self-admitted technical debt is only rarely annotated with references to bug trackers with URLs or with author names, unlike developers' self-report or self-state. So in summary, we studied the contents of self-admitted technical debt, whether and how negative sentiment occurs, and whether and how external references occur. You can find the full paper by scanning the QR code, and you can also find the entire dataset and all of the annotations using the QR code. Thank you very much for listening.